WSB.
Hi, Sean.
I talked to you yesterday.
Good. You are fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes. A great host. Sean afraid to listen to his show.
Absolutely, 95.5.
One mic.
Hey, Shelley Winter Show live, local, topical, and relevant, my friends. Man, oh man, I've got to update you on the breaking news. So last night, as many of you know, oh, by the way, thank you, Fred Boulogne of the Boulogne Law Group. Fred Boulogne, he's also works in Cobb County government, sent me this throwback Braves hat because he says I wear too many New York hats on the air. So he sent me this cool throwback Braves hats. Thank you, Fred. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate my hat. Thank you so very much. So I want to start here. Last night, so let me take you through what happened and just tell you how, the favor that I have from the Lord, God. Last night, I had no idea about this Rick Jackson commercial that dropped. We were talking about, a caller called in and asked a question. Hey, Shelley, do you think the governor's going to endorse in the governor's race? And I said, no, I don't think he will. I think he's going to leave it and wait to let the people decide, let it play out. And as I went to break, a caller called in and said, hey, to the producer, Colby was there, and said to Colby, hey, tell Shelley Governor Kemp endorsed Rick Jackson. And so I said, she told me that. We're in break. And I went to my phone and I Googled and I don't see anything, but I see this ad. And that's what the caller thought was an endorsement. And so, and the ad does sound like an endorsement. It's meant to sound like an endorsement. Now, that's where we are. I'm catching you up, right? That's what happened last night. I went off on a rant, probably garnered on my Facebook page, probably the most views I've ever had of a segment that I posted on Facebook, into close to 6,000 views so far. Been shared over 50 times. So it's very, so I want to continue because it's breaking news that I think I'm the only one that has this news. So that Rick Jackson spot, if you will, that 30-second spot came from an over 50-minute interview that Governor Kemp did with Jonathan Martin, I believe is his name, at the Masters, right? And they dropped it on, it's on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, pull up Politico, and just put in Governor Kemp, and it'll come right up there. It's like a 50-minute sit-down interview. And Governor Kemp talks about everything, right? He's not, this is what I love about Governor Kemp. He doesn't talk in political speak. You know what I mean? He doesn't answer with a bunch of words without answering the question. You ask him a question, he's going to answer it. And that's what this 50-minute interview is. So there's a point in this interview where the interviewer, I think his name is Jonathan Martin, he asked Kemp about the governor's race. So I want to play this quick clip for you so you can hear it. But, of course, we're shorthanded, and so George is there, and George is doing two things, answering calls and hopefully going to play this sound for us. But in the meanwhile, if you want to see the full, because a lot of people text me last night saying, where was this interview? And it's Politico interview, and it's on YouTube. You can see the full 50-minute interview on Politico. George? Yeah. So this is the sound. So this is the Governor Kemp talking about the governor's race. I clipped it because there was no point in replaying what Rick Jackson's team pulled last night to make into a 30-second ad.
Well, you mentioned President Trump endorsing Burt Jones. Is that a race where you think money could actually trump Trump's endorsement?
Well, I think the amount of money he's talking about spending, it'll depend on kind of what Burt spends and kind of how things play out. A lot of people ask me about that race right now, and I'm just like, hey, you just got to let that thing play out now that the...
Is it a runoff?
I would think.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that plays out.
Do you have a preference?
I have a great work.
So Jonathan Martin asked the governor, do you have a preference? Listen to what he says.
You know, I have a great working relationship with the lieutenant governor. We've really had a great team with him, and
I have a great relationship with the lieutenant governor. We have a great team with him. And then he talks about Rick Jackson. Notice he doesn't mention Chris Carr, Brad Raffensperger. This was at Masters weekend. So there, basically everyone knew it was going to be Jones and Jackson in a runoff. Says, I have a great working relationship with the lieutenant governor, a great team. And then he talks about Rick Jackson and everything, which you heard in that 30-second spot. Now, earlier today, I'm not going to say who sent it to me, but I got a text from one of the Jackson team. And it sent me, the text read, hey, man, we never said we got the endorsement. We never said it was an endorsement. And I laughed to myself because you never said it. Of course, in a court of law, if someone asks, hey, were you guys endorsed by Brian Kemp? You could say, no, we never said that. But you know what the ad implies. They know what they put out there. And my friend texts me, says, oh, we never said it was an endorsement. Come on, man. People are now on Facebook now saying that Governor Kemp endorsed Rick Jackson. I've seen it on several large group pages. So I want to read the official statement. Garrison Jackson, who's in comms with the governor. This is the statement from Garrison on behalf of the governor. This is quote, the only candidate the governor has endorsed in the runoff elections thus far is Derek Dooley, and any insinuation to the contrary is not true. I want you to pay close attention to the language. Any insinuation, which clearly that ad by Rick Jackson's team insinuated, implied, wanted you to believe that he got an endorsement from Brian Kemp. No, technically, you never said it was an endorsement, but you know what the ad is implying or insinuating according to the governor's own statement. So let me read to you again, all of you out there who think that Governor Brian Kemp endorsed Rick Jackson. Here is a statement from Garrison Jackson on behalf of the governor. The only candidate the governor has endorsed in the runoff elections thus far is Derek Dooley. And any insinuation to the contrary is not true. You can even say, and any insinuation to the contrary is a lie. It's the Shelley Winter Show, 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, it's election time. All kinds of stuff are going out there. All kinds of things are being said. Just do your due diligence and vote. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. We will be right back.